If you've been following us for any length of time, first of all, thank you. We truly appreciate you. But second of all, you probably know that we really like to draft, and we never really stop drafting when it comes to fantasy football. Soon as the season ends, we're jumping back into drafts. And if you've been following us, you also probably know we are partnered with Underdog. And the great thing about Underdog is they love to draft as well, and they never stop drafting either. They already have real money drafts going on for 2025 right now. We've done some of these, and I find myself taking the same players over and over in these drafts. These are 10 players that I just feel like are either A, going to go off in 2025, B, are way too good of values in 2025, or C, both. So here you go. These are my way too early top 10 must-haves for 2025 right now. Now, before I get to those picks, if you want to try out some of these drafts on Underdog Fantasy for as little as $3 per draft, just go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Join using promo code ENDGAME, because not only will that get you access to these drafts, but also up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick. Now let's start with Malik Nabers, who's going at pick 11, wide receiver 8. Now, it's not that this is a great value for Malik Nabers. It's that I feel like Malik Nabers is absolutely going to smash in 2025. In 2024, we kind of saw the floor version of Malik Nabers, right? He wasn't terrible. He wasn't really ever a bust. He just kind of gave you a nice, solid floor every single week, rarely giving you any kind of a ceiling, but that's going to change in 2025 because we know the Giants are going to do something at quarterback, whether it's draft a rookie, sign a veteran, or maybe both to kind of like have that bridge quarterback. He's definitely going to get an upgrade at the QB position. And I already love the talent of this guy. Like last year, I was a little low on him because of the quarterback situation. Had nothing to do with his talent. He is the exact type of guy you want in fantasy. Get the ball in his hands. He can make things happen. Also, you gotta love the situation for him here in New York, because say whatever you want about the coaching staff, the team, the organization, they understand he is the best part of their offense, and they funnel the offense through him. Everything goes through Malik Nabers. Now looking at 2025 with a potentially big quarterback upgrade, a potentially big offensive upgrade, and knowing the offense is still going to funnel through him, and the fact that he's probably going to actually hit on some of those deep balls that we never saw last year because none of his quarterbacks could throw the deep ball. Malik Nabers has a chance to be one of the top scoring players in all of fantasy. So if I can get him towards the end of the first round, I'm taking that every time. And now, if you've watched any of my offseason videos so far, you know that I am planting my flag on Christian McCaffrey in 2025. Right now, going as pick 14, the RB7. There aren't a lot of guys. In fact, I would argue there's maybe nobody in the second round that you can legitimately say has a chance to be the highest scoring player in fantasy, the highest scoring player at his position. That is Christian McCaffrey. And we know this is true because any year he's been healthy outside of his rookie year, that is what he has been. Now, I understand the risk here. There's the risk with the Achilles tendonitis. 2025 was a complete lost season to injury. This is now his third lost season to injury, basically, so it's not like this was a new thing for him. He's getting a little up there in age. He's still not dust or anything, but going into 2025, it sounds like he's going to be fully healthy. And I know there's some people that say, like, hey, that PCL injury, it was because of the Achilles. No, completely unrelated. He just happened to land on the knee in the exact right way for a PCL injury. Whether he had a healthy Achilles or not, he was going to get a PCL injury on that play. Remember, we've seen other players like Puka Nacua get PCL injuries on the same kind of play with no Achilles issues. Now, that doesn't make the Achilles issues go away, and obviously as we get closer to the season, if we're hearing anything about the Achilles, okay, fine. I'm taking my flag, and I'm like, nope, I'm not dying on this hill. But as long as he's going into next season fully healthy, which we have to believe he will be at this point, I am all in on a guy who could legitimately be the highest scoring player in fantasy that I can get in round 2. And I've also talked about Kyren Williams briefly this offseason, currently going pick 34, running back 14, and this one is just perplexing to me. I don't understand it. I get that Kyren Williams wasn't as good last year as he was the year before, but he was still very, very good, giving you RB1 type weeks almost every single week, touchdown upside almost every single week. He's the undisputed workhorse running back in a Sean McVay offense that's probably going to bring back Matthew Stafford. They're talking about giving Kyren Williams an extension, which just shows the confidence that McVay and this organization has in him. Now, I get it. Again, he's Probably not going to be a top 5 running back like he was 2 years ago, but he's certainly a guy that can be a top 10 week in, week out running back, basically a set and forget must start running back. And we're getting him in the 3rd round as the RB14. You're telling me that there are 13 running backs with more upside than Kyren Williams in fantasy? I'm not buying into it. There's no injury concerns here. There's no workload concerns here. He's the guy in a good offense. I'm going to bet on that every single time. Give me all the Kyren Williams. And then there are a few things you can count on year after year, and one of those is Mike Evans always being a value in fantasy, currently going as pick 36, wide receiver 19 in fantasy. This guy, all he does is 1,000 yards every year, 10 plus touchdowns every year. Even last year, missing that time with injury, still went over 1,000 yards. Okay, he didn't hit 10 touchdowns, but come on. Let's give the guy a pass. He missed, like 4 or 5 games in the middle of the season there. When this guy is fully healthy, as he is right now, as he will be going into next season, hopefully, as of right now, this is a guy, again, you know you're getting 1,000 plus yards. You know you're probably getting 10 plus touchdowns. It doesn't matter who the OC is. I remember after Dave Canales left, the first year with Baker, people were worried. Then Liam Cohen came in and everything was fine. Now people are worried that he's gone. No, they're going to be fine. Baker Mayfield is in a good spot here. He can support Mike Evans. Chris Godwin, coming off a major injury, may not even be back. I do like Jalen McMillan, but Mike Evans is the clear alpha wide receiver here, and he's shown no signs of slowing down. Why is he still such a value in fantasy? If this guy would have stayed fully healthy all year last year, he would have been a top 10, maybe a top 5 wide receiver, and we can get him at this price. Yeah, I'm taking that every time. Now, I'm feeling myself kind of turning into a Chris Olave apologist. I don't know what the word is, but man, this year I'm falling for Chris Olave again. Pick 55, wide receiver 31. Now, I get it. Last year, a lost season, kind of like CMC with the concussions, with the quarterback play. The 2 years prior, he's been good, but not great. But there's reasons for optimism here. Number one, we know Kellen Moore, now the head coach. That's a huge boost to this offense. Now, sure, Kellen Moore probably not going to be the OC, but he's probably going to call the plays, and he's probably going to have a huge influence on this offense, which we know is great for fantasy. Number two, it sounds like they're ready to move on from Derek Carr. We could be looking at them bringing in a vet like a Sam Darnold, like a Russell Wilson, like an Aaron Rodgers. Who know? Those aren't the most exciting QBs, but we know they can support high-end wide receivers. And number three, Chris Olave is a talented player. We haven't really gotten to see it yet because A, he's been stuck with bad quarterback play, or B, injuries. And I get the injury concern here, especially with concussions. We know how that goes. One hit, this guy could miss multiple weeks. But I think at this price, I'm willing to gamble on it. If he can stay fully healthy all year and avoid concussions, man, this guy could absolutely smash in this new offense with a new QB. So, yep, once again, I'm going to be a Chris Olave truther this year. Will it backfire on me again? Maybe. Let's hope not. I guess we'll see. And then if you watch my 5 best running back value picks, I put James Conner in there over Kenneth Walker. I was very on the fence about this one, and I kind of regret it. And I'm now coming around on Kenneth Walker over James Conner. Currently going pick 58, running back 18. I know he was really bad last year for really no reason. I don't understand why he was so bad last year, but I'm loving Kenneth Walker going into 2025. Mike McDonald fired OC Ryan Grubb after 1 year, brought in Clint Kubiak, and all these guys are talking about is run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, and that's going to be Kenneth Walker. We've seen when Kenneth Walker is healthy, Zach Charbonnet hardly even involved. I'm not worried about Zach Charbonnet like this being a 1A, 1B, some kind of committee. Not to mention, we saw last year, and we know with Clint Kubiak, he likes to use these running backs in the passing game. Now, Kenneth Walker, not a premier pass catcher, but he was kind of showing early last year like he can be a pass-catching running back. If he can hit that 40-catch mark, maybe the 50-catch mark, we could absolutely see Kenneth Walker explode this year. And again, you're getting him at such a value here, like a low-end RB2. There's really not a lot of risk with Kenneth Walker in drafts right now. So from what I'm hearing from the coaching staff, how they're going to just want to run the ball, I am all in on Kenneth Walker right now. And let's give QB some love, and I'm all in on Brock Purdy at QB right now. Currently going at pick 99, quarterback 11, which basically means if you're in a 1 QB league, which most of us are, This is a guy you can just wait till the very end of your draft and grab him as your QB1. And this is a guy, the 2 years he's been the, unquestioned starter the last 2 years, he's been top 11 in terms of QB points per game both of those years. And he has the upside to be top 5 in points per game when everything is healthy in this offense. Obviously, last year was a complete lost year for the 49ers with injuries on the offensive line, injuries at wide receiver, obviously CMC. But when this offense is fully healthy, when Trent Williams is healthy, when CMC is healthy, which I'm obviously betting on, this offense absolutely has the ability to explode, and Brock Purdy as well has the ability to explode and be a top 10, top 5 QB, give you those kind of weeks, and you're getting them at such a discount. And the other nice thing when you wait this long on QB, let's say you draft Brock Purdy and look, maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe Brock Purdy is struggling. You can easily just move on from Brock Purdy and grab somebody off the waiver wire. Like last year, you could have grabbed Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, etc., and been just fine at QB. So I'm more than happy just waiting on QB, grabbing a guy like Brock Purdy who's in a fantastic offense with a fantastic offensive mind, who also does have sneaky rushing upside, right? He gives you some rushing touchdowns, some rushing yards. So sure, he doesn't have the ceiling of like those elite QBs, but I'm able to draft a better position of need, running back or wide receiver there, and then just wait and get a guy like Brock Purdy who can give me top 10, top 5 QB weeks, and I'll be just fine. And then I feel the same way at tight end with David Njoku, pick 103, going as a tight end 9. I know people are going crazy for Brock Bowers right now, going like early second round, which is crazy to me. Even like guys like Trey McBride, even Sam Laporta, who's still being drafted as a top 4 tight end. Like, nothing against those guys. I'm sure they will be good. I don't think they're going to be bust, but why not just wait? Get David Njoku basically at pick 100 very late in your draft in the double-digit rounds. And we've seen this guy when he's healthy the last few years has been a productive tight end. We know the Browns are going to do something at quarterback, and it's not going to be Deshaun Watson or Dorian Thompson-Robinson, thankfully, because Deshaun Watson just retore his Achilles. Who knows if we're even going to see that guy in the NFL again. DTR, yeah, they tried that. Those days are over. They have a high draft pick. They're probably going to draft a rookie. They could also sign a vet if they don't feel like the rookie they're going to draft is ready. They could sign a vet as that bridge QB, and that is great for David Njoku. This guy can give you top 10, top 5 tight end weeks, kind of like Brock Purdy. No, he's not going to be like it every week, elite tight end 1, tight end 2, but he's going to give you top 10 weeks, top 5 weeks, and you're going to be just fine at tight end. But instead of having to pay a premium for those other guys, you waited, got David Njoku, and you're stacked at the other positions. And honestly, that gives you an advantage over your league. And then getting outside the top 100, I can't believe Michael Pittman is going pick 107, wide receiver 52. I understand. He was a huge bust last year in the 3rd round. But imagine if you had drafted Michael Pittman at pick 107. You would have been okay with Michael Pittman. I mean, sure, there were some weeks where he gave you nothing, but he had plenty of startable weeks, plenty of good weeks. We know he's still a talented player. It's not like this is a guy who's not talented. Like, we haven't seen him produce at the NFL level. And he was dealing with that major back injury. He probably shouldn't have even finished the season last year. But it sounds like the back won't be an issue heading into next season. He'll be fully healthy. But now people just completely erase this guy from their minds. I mean, outside the top 100, like, even if he's only does what he did last year, it's like, okay, that didn't win me my league with this pick, but it didn't lose me my league. But what if he does what he did a couple years ago where he was great, which made him a 3rd round pick last year? This is absolutely going to be a league winning type of pick. This is the kind of guy I like to bet on late, a talented player who we know can produce, and just for whatever reason it didn't happen last year because of QB play, back injury, whatever. I'm willing to take that gamble this year. Give me this massive discount on Michael Pittman. If it doesn't work out, oh well. It was a pick outside the top 100. I move on. But if it does, I have a huge advantage over my league. And I feel the same way about Brian Robinson Jr. Pick 110, running back 35. He's like the Mike Evans of running backs. Like, every year this guy is good for fantasy, good in real life. And then every year people are like, I don't want Brian Robinson Jr. Why don't we want Brian Robinson Jr.? Let's see. He's in a good offense. He's a good player. He has touchdown upside every week. And hopefully by now we have learned that rushing QBs don't hurt running backs. They help running backs. Look at James Cook last year. Look at Derrick Henry last year. Look at Saquon Barkley last year. All with rushing QBs. All had close to or arguably the best seasons of their entire careers. Rushing quarterbacks actually help running backs. Now, I know Jaden Daniels could vulture some touchdowns, but it's okay because he opens up the running game for Brian Robinson Jr. Now, Brian Robinson Jr., no, he's not going to finish as like a top 10, top 5 running back, but where you're getting him here, you're getting a guy who gives you pretty much RB2 games every single week. Last year, double-digit points in all but 5 games, and 1 or 2 of those games he left early with injury. This is a guy who just gives you solid fantasy production week after week with a bit of upside when he has those like 2 touchdown games, and you're getting him for free at pick 110. I don't know how you say no to Brian Robinson Jr. in 2025. So there you go. Those are my top 10 must-haves right now. But if you want to see those 5 running backs that I think are great values in draft that I talked about, you can find them in this video right here.